Hey everybody, it is Elson932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me for Love is Blind France. This is for episodes 8 and 9. Please make sure you have liked, shared, and subscribed to the channel. Please leave comments below because I do answer my comments. And, it's a great way for us to interact. So let's talk about it. Episode 8 starts off the way episode 7 ended. Tatiana is not trying on any dresses. She said the first time she had faith and it ended in divorce. And she wants to try on dresses when she's only 100% sure. She said, it was always difficult with Yannick and she wants, a supportive person. She wants someone to take the load off, not make it heavier, and doesn't think he can do that. She says she has too many doubts and she won't divorce again. Now, meanwhile, Yannick is sitting with a friend. He finds out that Tatiana did not try on any dresses. She's not replying to his text messages, and he thinks not responding is disrespectful. Do you think so? What are your thoughts about not responding to text messages, especially in a case like this? But he says they both don't have the same idea of what respect is. He says to us that she was 2 hours late for the notary that time. So when he was late for the perfume date, was that paying her back for her 2 hours late? Y'all remember in my recap, I asked that. I wonder if he is punishing her for something. I don't know where that came from, but I'm thinking he probably was. But he said she hung up on him, and he said, after she did that and was disrespectful, he would have still worked on it. He wouldn't have been done with it. But, the friend is like, hey, assume it's over. She want to talk to you. Don't think it's kumbaya. Let's get it together. Okay? Yannick still wants to meet her because he said there's still love there. He still has love for her. The friend worries that he's not seeing things straight. And, love doesn't mean that you do everything your partner wants you to do. Now we see Tatiana and Yannick back at the apartment. She says their messages were not clear to each other. They were arguing all the time. And that is not the relationship she wants. She said it should not be so hard every day when you are with the right person. Yannick says it matters what goes on between us. I'm making, changes even though it's hard. He said, hey, if there is love, then let's do this. She's like, you're into theory mode. You're always thinking of a theory. What we experience is opposite to what you're talking about. And we could not agree on things that benefit us. And he spoke harshly at her about the notary and said he was leaving. He was not going to stay there. She said, I'm not your sister. You ain't going to talk down to me. And I was like, what in the world happened? I need to hear that message. I need to hear what went on. Yannick says when he makes a point, she doesn't want to hear him. She's like, you are wrong. And starts interrupting him. He's like, wait a minute. You're talking about my tardiness to the perfume. I want to talk about your tardiness to the notary. There is disrespect on different levels. She says, disrespecting her, she gonna hang up on you. She has her limits. And I'm like, Tatiana, yes, someone may have disrespected you, but you still have to talk it out if there's love. He keeps asking her, can I please finish? Can I please make my point? She's like, I'm tired of arguing. I'm not going to argue with a 35-year-old child. I won't marry him. He is exhausting. And I'm like, Tatiana, that's no way to speak to someone, even if you are mad at them. I'm kind of mad at you right now. Why are you calling him a child? That's no way to speak. I'm sorry. Yannick, when you kept on asking to finish, it was grating my nerves just a teeny weeny bit, but it was just because of your word choice. It wasn't because of you actually asking that. So she's talking down to him. She's getting ready to leave. And he's, asking to be heard. He is speaking. He's like, hey, I'm trying to show you how I felt disrespected in certain things that you did. Could we please talk about this? She wants out. And she walks out while he is mid-sentence. And we hear a click of the door. He said he didn't see it ending like this, and this is so sad. She said she is relieved to get out of this relationship. It is not healthy or productive, and at her age, she can't have a 35-year-old Yannick, telling her how to live her life. If this was the case, young lady, then you shouldn't have been with him. You should have let him go into pods. She says he has not shown her respect, and there's someone out there for her, and she won't give up on love. So y'all, Yannick and Tatiana have left the experiment, okay? Love is not blind for them. I am mad at it. My only thing is with the argument, she didn't let him speak. Even if he is saying something that you totally disagree with, let him get it out. We all want to be heard. We all want to be seen. And he's just trying to say, hey, I felt disrespected here, but she doesn't want to be corrected. She's doing everything perfect. I guess she is perfect. So she doesn't want to listen to him. Yes, he did wrong, but listen to him and then point out what you want to talk about. So we continue with Julie and Charles. They're shopping for a baby shower. They talk about becoming parents. You know, she does see herself as a great mom. They agreed, though, to wait for kids. And they play a game about how well do they know each other. There's a card game they looked at, and they did pretty good. They didn't do 100%, but they did pretty good. But she wants to be a mom, and she doesn't want to wait too long. But he says he feels ready to be a dad, but he doesn't know right now in this moment if he does want to marry Julie. They play the song, Now Would Be a Good Time to Fall in Love. Kim and Thomas, he comes back from seeing his daughter. His daughter sent Kim some messages. It was nice. And Kim asked if he wants another child. He says, yes, he does. She made the assumption, though, that he wouldn't want because he already had one. And I was like, Kim, are you looking for the side door? Are you trying to say, well, you wouldn't want another child, but I want another child? And he's like, no, I want one. With my wife, yes. Yes. Sign me up. She wants a kid in a year or two. She says that she is mothering Stormy, and she thinks she'll be a good mother. But Thomas said he will not introduce Kim to his daughter until she says yes. But wouldn't that be too late? Wouldn't that be too late after you've already married? Now what if, Kim grates your daughter's nerves? Now you have a wife and not a girlfriend. Why can't you meet her one time for dinner, see how they interact? I think this is a bad strategy to wait till after a marriage. Maybe that was him telling us that he ain't trying to get married. I don't know. Chloe and Alex, he's getting nervous, and he says he doesn't feel the same way as he did in the pods. He is in emotional uncertainty, and he needs to go home to think it through. So he's packing up his bag, he goes home, his brother meets him there. So Alex says, hey, Chloe's exceptional, but this is going too fast, and he's feeling pressure. He does not plan to stay in Paris. He's just passing through. What were we talking about in the pods, Alex? What clearly were we talking about in the pods? Did you tell Chloe you were passing through? I know you had talked about eventually going to Guadeloupe, but did you tell Chloe you were just passing through? What do you think about us living someplace else? But he doesn't want to give up on his dreams. Okay, the brother says, hey, it's good. Take a breather. Take a breath. Calm down. Alex, says he has feelings, but it's not like the true love feeling to get married. So bro's like, hey, do what you need to do. It's better to gradually grow, and nothing is left, to see when you're at the top. And I'm like, bollocks, I disagree. Bro, I disagree. That there's nothing left to see once you've climbed the mountaintop. There's lots to see. There are other mountaintops. There are other hills to climb and other hills to actually, conquer. That is not the end of it. People who climb tall mountains or climb Mount Everest like that, they don't only climb Everest. They don't only climb, the mountain that they wish to climb. They go and climb another together. So what do you mean there's nothing to see once you get to the top? There's lots to see. The next mountain. So Alex said he's scared of getting hurt. And I totally understand you, Alex. Brother says, he's met someone. Alex has met someone great for him. And he needs to have courage in order to move forward. But Alex said he does not want to fail at marriage and he feels lost. Now, Chloe, meanwhile, goes to visit Charles and Julie at their apartment, and she tells them Alex went back to his apartment, but she doesn't want to stay at her apartment alone. It just, Alex is all over. It smells like him. So, says, she says they're not on the same timeline, and Charlie says, hey, some part of him loves you. He needs to take his time. She's like, yes, we should be making most of the time together, though. How can we move forward if we don't spend all this time together? She's like, how long does she have to keep fighting for the relationship? Now, Charlie said, hey, you keep fighting until you will not regret your choice. But be careful. Don't lose yourself in the fight. Chloe said it's not easy to feel like you love the person more than they love you back. She wants to give him time and to build in the journey at the same time. Julie says he's not doing anything wrong. Don't compare your actions to his. And, Charles, you need to go talk to your boy. I like that point with Julie. You need to go talk to your boy. Charles said, it's good to see that others are going through issues and it makes them confident about their future. I guess he's like, hey, we ain't got them kind of problems, okay? Sabrina and Van-My, she asked him, do you have plans? Where are you going? Whose birthday? Who's going to be there? What time does the place close? Are you coming home after? Straight home after? She is giving him the grill. Van-My, this is what you have to look forward to. So he's answering her. It's a friend of his birthday and so is going to be there. No, he ain't coming home. His brother's at his mom's and he want to spend time with his brother. So he's going over there. He'll be back tomorrow. And, she's like, oh, yeah, he ain't asked me if I have plans. So he does ask her. And she says, no, I'm just going to stay home. And she wishes he would have asked her to come to the friend's birthday party. If he wants her in his life, then he would include her in these things. She says, he's going all out. Oh, you wearing the button-down shirt with the slacks and the perfume. She clocking his clothes and everything. Sabrina, you're a little too analytical. I know that, may go over if you check in for, if someone is inconsistent or different. But hey, he's going to his friend's birthday party. She's like, oh, he looking good, smelling good. He gonna get hit on. And, even when she gets possessive, she doesn't want to try to control him. It didn't sound so, okay? It didn't sound so. She says, don't do anything stupid. Kim and Thomas, they choose wedding rings. He wants something as simple as possible. They choose white gold. And she says she's at peace because he loves her and she loves him. Okay. Julie and Charles, she's cooking at home since he went to work. He compliments her cooking and she is looking forward to going back to work. And he mentions that they need to work on housekeeping. He said that she has ruined his clothes in the laundry. Ooh, a few of his shirts. Julie, are we not separating whites from color? He says he feels that there are things that they're not doing when they do live together. They talk about who does what when. Oh, I did the dishes yesterday. I did it yesterday. You did it today. And I did laundry. I was folding laundry during my meeting, during my work day. He says he doesn't think that she spends a lot of time on the cleaning and hopes the roles will switch. She said it upset her that he said she doesn't know how to keep an apartment. She needs reassurance and she needs it now. She has no doubts on her side and it's getting scary. Sabrina and Van-My, they meet her parents and one of her friends. Sabrina pushes, to have her mom taste some food and she is pushy. Come on, mom, have this. Taste it. Just taste it for me. And the mom is like, I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat. And Sabrina is not taking no for an answer when the mom is just keeps on refusing. Now, remember, her mom has, Alzheimer's. She has advanced stages, but dad is her caretaker. Dad would be able to say, hey, she doesn't need to eat. Sometimes they will forget to eat. And dad is not pushing it. Dad is not pushing the subject. And I wonder if Sabrina, if you are that pushy. But Sabrina does tell Van-My, that this is how it is with someone who has Alzheimer's. And dad says that he is ever so glad for Sabrina's help. And asks Van-My, what do you think of my daughter? He likes how she takes care of her mom. She's a caring person. And then the friend asked Van-My, what are your flaws? He said he don't have none. Red flag. He's like, I don't know. And Sabrina's like, I haven't seen any red flag. You ain't seen no red flags from him because you got all of them stashed away, Sabrina. I'm sorry. So dad said, oh, maybe he has no flaws, and he just laughs. But the friend is like, you have to be aware of them so you can, make improvements. So Van-My does say, hey, he does not take initiative. Dad is like, hey, you're lucky because Sabrina is an honest person. She gonna tell you when you ain't taking initiative. Dad tells us that he finds Van-My very likable, seems sincere. He has won him over and he hopes he makes Sabrina happy. Van-My says meeting the parents is very meaningful in his culture. Now, production, I will give you your props. I am so glad that you kept the camera frame her mom out of the frame for most of this interaction. We did see a little bit of the mom rubbing her hands. And, my great grandmother had advanced Alzheimer's. So I kind of know what mama was physically exhibiting at certain points. And I'm glad that y'all were respectful of that. I will give you your props for that. Alexander and Chloe, he's back. And they're silent. I'm like, dang, are we back and not speaking? But they do a toast. It was just a moment to get, the food to the table. He spent 2 days at home. He said he had time to think. He doesn't like that he was putting her in a situation and doesn't want to play on her feelings. She said it was hard. She cried a lot. He said he still does not have the feelings that would lead to marriage. She's like, hey, I ain't put no pressure on you. If he needs time, she will give it. But don't walk down the aisle if he's a no. She said she got into this to meet someone and to meet their soul, and she thinks she has, but she cannot and will not rush him. He said he does not feel aligned with what he wants to do with his life. He said he's put his plans for his life in the back burner for years, even for, a spouse. Not a spouse, a girlfriend. He wants to go live in the mountains. He said he's put love before his dreams before, and he is asking her basically, will you go into the mountains? What, if I want to pursue my dreams, how would this affect you? What are we talking about in the pods? What are we talking about in the pods? If you weren't going to live in Paris, if you wanted to live in a mountain town, why didn't you talk about this with this young lady? But Chloe says she's flexible. She can find work wherever she is, and she can, move around without really trying, and she's willing to move. He says, hey, she listened, she understood what he needed, and he's coming, and where he's coming from, but there's a doubt about the marriage. Will he actually marry her? I'm like, don't drag her to the mountains without marriage. Please, Alexander. Don't drag her to the mountains without marriage. Charles and Julie, they have the final dinner. For her, marriage was, her little girl's dream. And she had a Prince Charming in mind. He's trying to be more practical. He's like, how is our daily life going to be, handled? He needs answers to that. She is looking for his emotional side. He's looking for practical. They're not on the same page. He said he wants to know if they can really live together. And she disagrees about his assessment about how living together goes. She says, hey, I do things. And he brings up these little stupid details. He's like, hey, we don't have a lot of time, and the details do help, but it does not help when she is defensive. She says she has a right to express that she's hurt. She's like, you treat me like a client, not emotional. There's a disconnect. So I'm like, oh, are we a therapist kind of? Are we a life coach kind of? And you pull your emotions out of it? How are you treating your clients, Charles? Okay. He does feel attacked. She says, hey, can you speak to me nicely? He doesn't mind her having a temper as long as it's not directed at him. He's like, look how I'm talking to you. Very mild and respectful. Now, remember I told y'all what's going to happen when or if he's in the crosshairs. It's all fine when Julie is telling these folks, mind your business at the first mixer. But what's going to happen when her anger is pointed towards Charles? How is that going to look? And we've seen this now. He ain't liking it. He says, speak to me nicely, please. Speak to me in a sweet, soft tone, please. Don't be using this attitude and defensive tone against me. And I wonder if he was calling her an angry woman. Y'all who speak French, put it in the comments and let me know. Was he trying to say that she was being aggressive in her speech? Julie says it's healthy to argue as a couple. Everything is not perfect, but she is scared that he will leave and she needs to feel safe. He said, hey, if I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be here. But I am still here. He's like, I'm here and I'm serious about us. She's like, but you have not said yes yet at the altar. He's like, I love you. I love you right now. And she goes to sit on his lap and they cuddle and he confirms and affirms that he does love her. And he says, time will come where she won't be defensive. That time, Charles, is at the altar. That is at the altar. But I'm hoping that's all it is. Because I don't know. Chloe and Alexander, he can't say, I love you back. And her ego is bruised. She says now she's willing to work on it because, she's never had strong feelings like this before. And they go climbing. She's afraid of heights, y'all. They go do indoor climbing, which she's trying to be a part of his world and show that she could be, make some strides towards it. But she's afraid of heights. Now she gets scared, like part of the way up the first time when he's like next to her. And she's just, she can't do it, she can't do it. She couldn't even hold onto the rope and jump till he eventually gets her to do that. But then he says, you know what, I'll hold your rope and I'll be your support while you climb up. And she makes it to the top. He said her just trying surprised him. He said he's pleased and he is touched, and it means she has real feelings if she will overcome her fears to be with him. She says she will make it up to him the next time, that she can really climb. And I'm like, is it climb or are we living up in the mountains? Those are two different things, Chloe. We climbing indoors in a controlled environment. We in the mountains. Can you live in the mountains? Sabrina and Van-My, this is their last date before the decision. And I'm like, are there no bachelor parties? Are there no bachelor parties? What's going on? So Van-My says he hopes their marriage will be for life. He feels a lot and he cares about her and he does love her. And they kiss. And she says, I love you too. And they both say it kind of lightly. And I'm like, She says she doesn't need to feel possessive with him now that she's heard that. Really? I don't think so, Sabrina. I think your claw's going to dig in further. I think you're going to be extra possessive because you do love him and he said he loved you back. But she said, hey, she's learned to be self-confident and she's happy with Van-My. Now, yes, the night before the weddings, they have the bachelorette party and the bachelor party. I'm just going to highlight it. At the bachelorette party, Chloe performs like a Vegas showgirl. She looked absolutely beautiful. She was, doing some dances. If those are an actual folk dance of some kind, y'all better tell me in the comments. Like Hawaii, you have the, hula dance. Please tell me, because it didn't look like it was anything traditional dancing to me, but I could be wrong. For the gents, Alex said he feels closer to her, but he does not feel the I love you feeling. And they joke about how Thomas was I love you from the pods before he even met her. Like, oh, your name is Kim? I love you. I love them joking on him. Charles says he does love Julie, but being with her for life is another thing. These were tame parties, I gotta say. These were tame parties. The season has been wilder than the parties. So Chloe and Alexander, we have the weddings. Welcome to episode 9. We are talking about weddings. This is why the veil, okay? This is not for my actual wedding, if you're gonna ask. So Chloe and Alexander, I love the international versions where the dresses and the suits are on display in the room when they walk in. In the US, people are carrying garment bags. I don't think that looks good for production. So I really love that the actual outfits are on display. So Chloe says she does, feel, the fear of loving, but she is still freely loving Alexander. But he never said I love you, and it's hard on your wedding day to commit to someone who has not said it. Her mom and friends come. We never saw their meeting, Alexander. Y'all realize that, right? Mom says, do you know how he feels about you? Are you willing to say yes to a man you don't know what his feelings are for you? Mom says marriage is for life. Chloe says she can put her pride aside because he is worth it. Alex says as a little boy, he's always wanted to get married and have kids. His grandma comes to see him. He has not seen her for over a year and she lives in Guadeloupe. Remember, Chloe lived and worked in Guadeloupe for a few years. Grandma is happy to be here still in order to see Alexander get married. And he said he does not know if he is worthy of Chloe and her sunshine. Mom comes. She says it's normal to have doubts before a marriage. You care about her a lot, but is that enough? He's afraid to do the wrong thing. His brother says, hey, make your decision for your life. But he said he is dreading the question from the mayor. He is worried that she and her family will react in a negative way if he broke up with her today. Now she walks down the aisle with her dad, and I'm like, is Alex on the wrong side of the officiant? Because he's on the left side and her family is on the left side. But is it a tradition in France for the bride and groom to stand in front of the other's family? I don't know. She says her vows. He is stumbling and mumbling through these vows, y'all. And I'm like, ooh, Alex. He started, crying, and she is comforting him. And I said, Chloe, stop comforting that man. You comforting the person that probably gonna break up with you. Why are you comforting him? You gonna look foolish if you're the one rubbing his back when he's actually the one, using you like a doormat. Stop it. But anyway, they asked Chloe first, and I said, daggone it. Daggone it. We know she's yes already. Should have asked Alexandre first. Chloe says, yes, I do. No hesitation. Soon as she's asked, Chloe, do you? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I was like, okay, Chloe, we already knew you were a yes, I do. Now it's Alex, and Alex is like, stumbling and fumbling, and I'm like, Alex. And Alex says, yes, I do. I was like, whoa. Whoa. Wait a minute. Do we, paging, would real Alex stand up? Because I didn't see this yes coming. I did not see this yes coming. But I congratulate Chloe and Alexandre. I wish you all the best in your marriage. We gonna see at the reunion if y'all still together. At the reception, we see they're both happy. He says that her vows touched him, and he realized he was in love with her. So he finally does tell Chloe he loves her. Chloe says she fell in love through a wall, and we should all try it. Sorry, Chloe. I'm sorry. Nuh-uh. So on the balcony, they're talking to the camera, and y'all, he looks like he's suffering. I'm sorry. Chloe's talking about, oh my God, this is so wonderful, and I'm so happy, and I fell in love through a wall. Everybody should be this happy. And Alexandra is standing next to her like, suffering on his face. Next wedding is Thomas and Kim. She says, this is her princess dream. In the real world, she would not have been interested in Thomas's profile. And that's the beauty of the process. No, that's the beauty in you possibly telling him no, because you said you would never be interested. But the family brings her dog, and he is dressed in a cute suit and has his diamonds. She talks about, him being hypersensitive, and he does not know the social codes and certain things, and that's a challenge. Now we see Thomas getting ready. He feels ready. His family is there, his family is not there because, remember, they have a bad relationship. Now, they do a lot of like GQ style photos and slow-mos to their wedding. And I was like, why are we doing this? Do folks really get married at the mayor's office, y'all? I heard that and I was like, wait a minute. Is it the mayor's office? Really? Is this not an officiant, like you can go online and get licensed to marry people? Please tell me how they do it in France. So he too is on the left side. But hey, she compliments him first. And he says, you too. She said, oh, you look very, very good today. You too. You don't tell me as your bride, as your blushing bride, that I am absolutely gorgeous? I'm going to turn into Sabrina. You don't tell me I'm beautiful? Oh, we have a problem. She gave, her vows without reading them. He read off the cue card, and she looked him in the face and said her vows. They asked Kim. Kim said it's a no. A simple no. She says, right now, our differences are too significant. It is too soon, and she cannot do this. And she walks out slowly. At first, I was like, girl, why are you so slow walking out? Then the dress must be too tight, and the train could catch on her heel. I was like, girl, you need to pick up the pace. Family support her. They say, don't do things too quickly. She said differences and intensity scared her of it, his intensity of emotions. She's not what she's looking for. Her regret is, being in a wedding gown and no husband. Thomas says he believed in it, and he was wrong. He said his intensity and his simpleness was too much for her, but he has no regrets. Congratulations, Kim and Thomas, wherever your love life leads you. I hope you find happiness. Now, Sabrina and Van-My. Van said he has a big heart and he learned to open up without being judged. That's what Sabrina taught him. Tells his friends that he is stressed. They talk about how great Sabrina is, but she is jealous and she's possessive, and that's a bit scary for him. He does not want to repeat that in his life. Now, he took a Prada string tie, a leather tie. It's called a Saffiano leather bolo tie. Okay, it's like, leather strings and the Prada symbol up front. I'm just like, Van-My, do we have a sponsorship? Is that why we're wearing that? I'm not sure. It's a little different, but the whole Prada label. But the friend also has a lapel pin that was, I think it was Saint Laurent. I don't know. I was like, well, why are all these labels on display at this wedding? Are we sponsored by? Is there enough to say yes, is what he's asking. And I said, is there enough to say yes to brand deals? Sabrina says today is the day their story reaches its climax. And I'm like, oh, so it's a no for you? Because once it reaches its climax, that's it. That's it. You done. So are you telling us you done without saying you done? She said she fell because he is reassuring and he made her feel unique and special. She does dress alone. I'm like, you ain't got no friends, Sabrina? No friends at all to help you get dressed. Everybody else so far had friends. But her parents arrive. She tells them that, you know, they are her marriage inspiration and she wants a marriage for life like theirs. At the wedding, you know, he has a single flower in hand, and I thought that was for her mom. I really thought that was for her mom, but he was standing there with the flower in hand, and I'm like, what are we doing? Where'd the flower go? Production, I have questions. Fans said they still need to strengthen their foundation. Love is there, but we still need time. We are not ready yet. For today, it's a no. I said, dang it, Van-My, could you wait till we ask the question? He did it in the vows. He did it in the vows. He didn't ask, do you take Sabrina? He's like, I ain't being asked if I take her. I don't take her. I ain't gonna take her. Not today. Today is a no. She says she's a bit disappointed, but we'll see what happens. And they walk out together. I said, did she know? Did she kind of know? Because Sabrina seems like she would have been a little volatile if she didn't know it was a no. They sit on a bench, you know, and he asks, do you agree? She's like, I respect your decision. That means she don't agree, Van-My. Be careful. You may be on the block list. He said, it's hard to say no, but want to continue. But the marriage is an ultimate commitment. His parents' separation hurt him, and it hurt him a lot, and he didn't want to chance that. She has an explosive temper that scares him and is not ready right now. Now, to his friends, he says it was not an easy choice to make in front of everyone. And she says this will not be a turning point in a few months. And I'm like, are you planning on spinning the block? Or are you telling us it won't be a turning point in a few months? Or is this a translation issue? She's like, maybe it'll turn around in a few months is what they meant to say. Y'all, you know, school me. But Van-My, don't let it turn around in a few months. Let it go. Let her go. Julie and Charles, she says she always wanted to believe in Prince Charming. Physically, he is not her type. Not the type she goes out with. It's confusing, but she loves him. Okay? She says she'll get over it, and she is completely in love with him. Her father arrives. She ugly cries, y'all. She was not expecting him. She says she is happy he's here, and she no longer talks to her mom. She says her dad isn't really present in her life, but he is here today, and she is grateful for that. The dad asked if Charles is good to her, and, you know, if he's good looking, and she said yes to both. I guess, you know, now Charles has, you know, grown to look attractive. Her sister and friends arrive. She is stressed out. We go to Charles now. He said the last few days have not been easy. He's 90% sure of his answer, and he dresses alone. Valerie, his aunt, comes. That is his mom's sister. Remember, his mom has passed away. She is there to stand in for his mom and walk him in. He said he does wish his mom is there, and today he, you know, hopes that he is a man that she could be proud of because he is taking the steps to rebuild his family. I'm like, why are we in the same mayor's office? Friends, do we have to get married in the same mayor's office where we reside in those apartments? Is it the same mayor? It looked like him for all of them. So the aunt does walk Charles in. Julie's father walks her in. She is worried about his answer. His family's to the left, hers is on the right, and I'm like, okay, this must mean something. They stand in front of each other's family. It must mean something. This is how France does it. This is how France does it. The mayor starts with Charles. I'm like, you should have started with her first. She the one that's skittish. I would have liked, because she probably going to say yes or no based on his answer. Mayor, you done messed up. You should have asked her first. Charles says yes. And then we're looking at Julie. Julie says yes. she looks more excited than he does. She's like, oh my God, I said, yes, you're my husband. You my husband. You are my husband. She keeps saying, you are mine. You are my husband all the time that we see, all through the reception and everything. But you know what? I'm happy for Julie. I'm happy for Charles. I wish y'all all the best for a long-standing marriage. We gonna see the reunion if y'all together, but I do wish you all the best. But that Julie, you got a husband. Chloe, you got a husband. So, to wrap it up for Love is Blind France with an amazing first season, the two couples to get married are Charles and Julie and Alexandre and Chloe. Thank you all so much for being here with me through this journey. And we're going to talk about this later on a live, on another recap, and we have a reunion coming soon. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.